Sunil Mundra es un líder de pensamiento en transformación organizacional y agilidad empresarial. Como consultor principal en TopWorks y autor del influyente libro Enterprise Agility, ha trabajado con organizaciones de todo el mundo.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is another episode of Agile is Not Dead. Thank you so much, Sonny, for accepting this invitation. We are really happy to have you here. And, well, we are going to start. It's an honor to have you here. Thank you so much again.
Hi, David. Well, I should thank you for thinking about me and for inviting me for this conversation. And thank you for the nice words about my book. I also want to mention to the audience that I recently published my second book, which is Evolvability in Business. It's about organization transformation. So just wanted to put that on record as well. But once again, thank you for having me as part of this conversation.
We have to buy the next book. I'm going to read it, pretty sure.
Please do. Please do, and then give me feedback, yeah?
No, I think it's going to be your first book. Well, I think, in my opinion, is a masterpiece. It's really, really good.
So much.
I really enjoyed it. Very insightful, very powerful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, since that book, I would like to know, what do you think? Why people is saying in the networks, in the social media, agility is dead? What's going on?
I think, David, before we get into the details of why agility is dead, let us understand the definition of what agility means.
Please.
Right? So, in my book, if you remember, I have a separate chapter devoted to making a distinction between agile and agility. Okay. In my view, agility has three underlying capabilities: the ability to sense, the ability to adapt, and the ability to respond. And every organization which is surviving or living or working has these capabilities. The question is, are they good enough? Can you get better at them? And agile, to me, is a mindset and ways of working to achieve or to improve these capabilities. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are saying agile is dead. I have not heard agility is dead. Okay. I think people need to understand the difference. Okay. Now, if we agree to talk about why people are saying agile is dead, then I can give you my thought process and my opinion on it. Is that okay?
Please.
All right. So I think a couple of things. One is a little bit of sensationalism, right? People want an attention-grabbing headline. And I think that headline became popular, right? Somebody saying agile is dead. But there is some truth to that which captures the pain of organizations and teams which have tried to adopt agile ways of working, and it has not made a difference, right? So people are saying something is wrong with agile. Actually, no. There cannot be something wrong with the ways of working and the mindset. It's the way you adopt it. It's the way you customize it to your context. Yeah. It's the way you focus on outcomes. If you're not going to do that, then it's not going to work. And then people have ended up blaming agile, saying, oh, this is not good and this does not work. So that's my take on why people are saying agile is dead.
Well, it seems there are a lot of, oh, I think some misconceptions, right? So about the agility. What do
Yeah.
you think about what are the most common misconceptions in your opinion?
I think a lot of misconceptions is around agile is just a process. Yeah. And you implement it like a tool, you implement it like a process, and it should work. Yeah. Whereas, so that is assuming that agile is extrinsic in nature, right? But actually, to adopt agile ways of working, it has to be intrinsic. It has to come from within. And that is why people's mindset becomes very important to make it work. Okay. So if people don't understand the why behind what they are doing in terms of the meetings, the processes, the practices, it's not going to give the results, right? So one of the key misconceptions is that it is a process, and if you just implement it, it will work. The second is it will solve all problems. It's a silver bullet, right? It is not. Okay. Then there are many misconceptions about the manifesto, right? So when we say working software over comprehensive documentation, people have not understood the meaning of the word over, right? And then the misconception is agile means no documentation. So all the four values in the manifesto, people have misinterpreted them and ignored the last line, which says, that is, while we value the items on the right, we value the items on the left more. People have not understood the meaning of that line. And that is why many of the misconceptions have come up.
Wow. And in one hand, people love tools, process, all those things they can see, the tangible things. And on the other hand, people is a little bit of skeptic when they need to understand something intangible like a mindset, like a habits, you know. And but now we have the artificial intelligence. And my question is, how do you think artificial intelligence is reshaping the concept of agility within organizations?
I have a disclaimer here. Okay. I have not yet started working with teams and organizations which have adopted artificial intelligence as a core part of their processes. Okay. So I think I may not be the best person to answer that question, but to me, yeah, agility, it will enable agility, in my view, if it is going to improve the efficiency and the effectiveness of the team to achieve the outcome. Okay. But I also think that it is still evolving, and it is important to understand the limitations of AI and not jump into replacing humans with AI directly. I think a lot of the success which comes in terms of making agile more effective is because people contribute, people think, people give their feedback. For example, You could do a retrospective meeting. But if people don't express the reality, right, then you can say that you have done the meeting, but nothing is going to come out of it and it is not going to make a difference. But if the mindset is there, people feel safe to talk about challenges and problems, right? Then that is going to be effective. And especially if you convert them into action items and follow up. I am not sure. And this is again, coming from my lack of knowledge, enough knowledge about AI, how AI is going to be contributing in a retrospective. Maybe not, maybe yes, I don't know, right? So I think we have to see where it fits, what is the use case, what value it is bringing, try something out, yeah, see it as an experiment, and then see what works, adapt accordingly, and then take it forward. So definitely AI is real. It's going to be a part of the work we do, but it depends on how pragmatic we are in terms of recognizing what AI can do and what AI cannot.
Excellent. And talking about leadership or leaders, my question would be, what role do leaders play in integrating all these new tools, all these new concepts and technology, while maintaining agile principles?
So I think it is important for leaders to understand the first principles of Agile. Okay. And this is again for people who are saying Agile is dead. So what are some of the first principles? What does Agile really stand for? Agile really stands for customer-driven outcomes. Okay. Agile stands for having the customer give feedback as quickly as possible, right? And fast feedback is something which is embedded in the Agile ways of working. So why do we do a stand-up meeting or a daily Scrum meeting in the morning? It's because you want to get feedback from the team, right? If they see any blockers, impediments, and how is the progress towards the sprint or the iteration, right? And that feedback is on a daily basis, okay? If you do continuous integration, yeah, again, it's about fast feedback. If you have broken something, the CI will tell you that you checked in code and something is broken right away. Yeah. So I think if you understand that fast feedback is what Agile is aiming for, then you have to see how bringing in AI tools can make it better, right? Agile is about visibility and transparency, right? Agile is about collaboration. So if you understand these first principles as a leader, then you have to see how, by bringing in AI, how can you enhance these principles, right? And not go the other way, right? If AI is going to create a silo or a bottleneck, then that's a problem. So always look at outcomes that you want to achieve and always look at the first principles which Agile, Agile is based on.
Great. And talking about the future, for example, what trends do you see is happening in the future related to agile transformations?
Wow, that's a very broad and big topic. The word you use, transformation, right? I I have spoken about this in my second book extensively, right?
Wow.
And I think the word transformation has again become a buzzword, right? Every organization today is claiming they are undergoing some transformation, in some form. Now, the definition of transformation again is unfortunately varying from organization to organization. Some people are just adopting agile ways of working and calling it transformation, right? Some people are focused only on changing the IT function and calling it enterprise transformation. Yeah. Some people are looking at only certain products, but leaving out the other supporting functions and calling it enterprise or organization transformation. Yeah. Some people are just adopting some digital tools and calling it digital transformation. Okay. So I think the word transformation, the depth and the breadth of transformation, there are very few organizations who really understand it and who go through that process of changing things within the organization, which are going to help to improve the capabilities underlying agility. So there are two challenges with transformation. One is that it is treated as a one-time event. Okay, it's like a project. You have a current state, you want to achieve a future state, and you try to go towards a future state. And you say if you achieve a part or full vision of the future state, you say transformation is done. But actually, transformation is never done because the environment is changing all the time, right? And if you look at studies which are done in terms of transformation successes, the number is very, I would say, shocking, saying that 70% of transformations are not successful, right? So clearly, something has to change, okay? And what me and my co-author, Jen Go, have said in our book, which recently got published, is that transformation needs to be continuous and not be like a one-time event. So if you use the metaphor from biology, right? The most common metaphor given for transformation is that it is a larvae converting into a butterfly. Okay. Now that happens in nature almost always successfully because there is a genetic code in the larvae which helps it to become a butterfly, right? There is no such thing in organizations. It's all based on interventions, okay? So what we are saying is, don't approach transformation like a metamorphosis. So converting a larvae into a butterfly is metamorphosis. Approach transformation like a mutation. So the best example of mutation is the COVID virus or even a flu virus. The environment changes, you come up with a vaccine, and the virus comes up with a new variant and it survives, right? So it is evolving continuously. And that is what we believe should be the way forward on transformation, that it should be inbuilt into the organization as a capability to evolve continuously.
Great. So, for example, what if the leaders can see the organizations as a complex systems?
Yes.
What would happen, right? So based on your comments, it's what is going to happen because every time all the time markets are changing, needs are changing,
Yes.
customer is changing all
Yes.
the time, all the time. But
Yes.
what is going to happen later? I mean, do you believe agility will remain relevant in the next decade? Or maybe it will be redefined? What do you think about that?
Look, I think as I said, two things, right? One is about agile. I think the first principles which I called about, focus on the customer, co-create with the customer, transparency, visibility, fast feedback, collaboration. They will not only remain, the need for that will be even more, given the complexity, right? So that is about agile. And for agility, I think the core capabilities of ability to sense, adapt, and respond. I mean, this is like so core to every enterprise to be able to survive and thrive. And the better you get at these three capabilities, the more you are in a position to not only deal with threats, but also spot opportunities early and capitalize on them. So going forward, I just see that these capabilities, which I just mentioned, need to be enhanced even more to be able to deal with this disruptive environment, which is changing so fast all the time.
Well, uh, recently the World Economic Forum has delivered the report about
Mhm.
the jobs and all those things, and also including the skills. And they mentioned how important is to acquire agility and resilience as a skill. So for the next 30 years, they recommend all the people who wants to get a job, I mean, to maintain, to continues into the organizations doing something, delivering value, the people need to acquire agility and resilience. So based on that, what advice will you give to professionals and leaders who are skeptical about the value of agility today?
I think for professionals, it's about being open to learning all the time. Specific skills, specific technologies can get outdated very quickly. So, as long as one is curious and open to learning, we should be good. And while people are saying AI is going to take away jobs, it's the same way people said when computers came, people are going to lose jobs, and what are we going to do with these unemployed people? I am hopeful that some other jobs will come up in terms of doing higher value added work for all of us if AI is going to take over repetitive tasks and some of the other grunt work which the teams do. So for professionals, I think the curiosity and the willingness to learn new things is important. Okay. For leaders, I think it is important for leaders to understand how to harness the power of human brain. Right? That's not going to go away, I think, even with AI. There are few things, especially with respect to creativity, with respect to feelings, right? Which AI, I think, will not be able to substitute for now, at least. Okay. So I think it's important for leaders to strike that balance between what humans can do, what is the human potential, what is the human value add, versus what AI brings in terms of efficiency as well as effectiveness. Balancing that, I think, is going to be key for leaders.
How important is the balance, the yin and yang, the experience and efficiency? So finally, what would you like to say to our followers, our subscribers in this podcast? Please.
Well, I think for me, it's achieving agility is an aspirational journey. You can never say we have achieved full agility. Okay. It's like saying a human being saying I have achieved perfect health. You never will. But at the same time, you can always do something starting today to improve your health. The same applies to organizations. You can always do something today, even something small, to improve the capabilities which underlie agility, the ability to sense, adapt, and respond. So I would say, start with yourself. See what you can change for the better, right? And continue on that path of continuous improvement.
Thank you so much, Sunil. Well, it was very interesting to have you here, and thank you so much. I would like to say thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. And please, I would like to see you in other episode discussing what is going to happen in the future. Maybe something is going to happen after AA. Something is going to happen after 6 months. Nobody knows. But the only thing that we know is the necessity to adapt, to be adaptive, to develop our skills to be adaptive, to develop our skills to be resilient. And well, thank you so much.
Well, once again, thank you, David, for inviting me. And I really enjoyed this conversation. And for whoever is not connected with me, I invite you to reach out, and always open to have a discussion about these topics and learn from each other. So
thank you so much, Sunil. It was a pleasure to have this amazing conversation with you.
Thank you very much.